What if I told you that you can land your first $5,000 client in the next 7 days, not 7 months, not 7 weeks, in the next 7 days? And I'm not talking about some theoretical strategy that might work if the stars align. I'm talking about a proven step-by-step process that I've used to help dozens of people close their first high-ticket client in the first week of actually trying. My name is Nabeel and I'm in my 20s and I've generated over $15 million for my clients, and I personally take home 6 figures every single month in profit. I don't say this to brag, I say this so you pay attention. And in this video, I'm gonna give you the full walkthrough of the exact 7-day roadmap to landing your first $5,000 client as an AI operator. This is not gonna be some vague motivational nonsense. This is gonna be tactical. Day 1, you do this. Day 2, you do this. Day 3, you do this, all the way through to day 7 when you close the deal. And I'm gonna show you the exact niche selection process, the exact offer creation framework, the exact traffic strategy, the exact prospecting method, and the exact sales process that can make this work. So if you're someone who's been watching from the sidelines for a while with all this AI noise and you're watching everyone make money and you're wondering when it's going to be your turn, this video could be your turn. This could be the thing that has a click for you that helps you unlock the next level inside of your personal development journey. All I ask for my time is that you watch all the way through, take notes, and actually implement what I'm about to show you, because frankly, 99% of the people watching this video won't even do anything about it, because the information itself is useless if you don't apply it. You have to actually apply the information for it to have value. So with that out of the way, let's get into it. All right, so step number 1, in the first 2 days, what you want to do is figure out which niche to do. And a lot of people get stuck here and they overthink it, and we're not going to do any of that. You shouldn't ask yourself, should I do this business? Should I try to do this niche for 2 days and then flip onto something different in 5 days and 10 days? And the worst thing you can do is niche hop. So it's like, think about your strengths, understand your weaknesses, understand the opportunities at play, because not all niches are created equal. You want to probably pick a niche that has a high ticket service delivery nature to it, so that when you do get a client, an additional, suppose you sign a client and you help them get 3 new clients, well, if the size of each client is worth $10,000 per client, you now have just made that client that you're working with $30,000 in additional revenue. And so you want to try to focus on good market opportunities with lower levels of saturation, with high ticket services that the client is selling. And then beyond that, again, it really just goes down to your strengths and weaknesses, because what's the best niche for you might not be the best niche for the next person. But you don't want to overthink it and don't overcomplicate it. Just pick one, don't pick 5, don't pick 10, pick one niche, and you want to go all in with that one niche. That way your messaging won't be generic, your offer won't be vague, and you'll be able to be very specific with the way that you tailor your messaging to the ICP that you're selling to within your niche. And so once your messaging is clear, your offer is tailored, and you position yourself as a specialist, you're not a generalist anymore, you're able to do a way better job and go way further with your marketing efforts, which then create this feedback loop for you to get more clients, be able to fulfill on better clients, and then get better clients over time as well. So we'll get into all of that, but that's niche. There's 2 core paths that you can go. You can either go the local businesses route, you could go the creator economy route. Both have their pros and cons. If you go local businesses, obviously you're not going to try to go to them and sell them a $500 chatbot. They've heard that thousands of times. What you're going to do is you're going to sell them a system that's going to help them make more money. So if you go to, for example, a business, a med spa as an example, you help them get 20 new patients per month through paid ads and content, and you're able to actually deliver on that service because you understand how to use AI in the right way and you understand the marketing principles behind working with AI, then you're able to fill their calendar. And when you're able to do that, you're able to generate leads, build their brand, and ultimately make them more money. And when you're able to consistently do that, you're able to drive profit, and they're buying that. They're buying the profit that you're able to drive them. They're not buying the AI system. They're not buying any technology. They're buying the fact that you're able to drive an outcome for their business. And the beauty is they're not sophisticated buyers, right? You know, they might have a bunch of people pitching them, but the people that are pitching them are also not super sophisticated either. So you can come into this market and do a great job if you position yourself in the right way. And so this is a great place to start, especially if you're a beginner, if you don't have a bunch of experience. The market is huge because there's tons of local businesses all around you, and they all need help because they're not sophisticated business owners. They're more of simple-minded people, and not all of them, but many of them, they don't really understand the complexities of business. And so you can come in, and if you position yourself sharply, then you're able to already have this massive level of delta against them compared to, say, a creator business. Now, a lot of these creator businesses, not all of them, but some of them, they have sharp people because they're in the online space. They're creating content. They understand marketing. They understand consumer psychology. They understand how to position things. And so these guys are more so situated, and not these 2 guys in particular, but the creator economy in particular, they're more so aware. They have better market sophistication relative to local businesses in particular. And so that's a great advantage you have. The sales cycles are obviously really short. You can get your first 2 to 3 clients really quickly. You can build your case studies and then prove that you can deliver results and do something bigger. And some examples real quick are dental practices, real estate agencies, law firms, home service companies, medical clinics. I mean, there's so many law firms as well. I guess I said that already. But either way, pick one of these and go all in. And that's one path you can go. If you do want to go in the creator economy, that's also great too. The great advantage of the creator economy is, again, it's booming. It's so big right now. So many billions of dollars are being transacted right now within the creator economy. The education system is completely changing as well. I think there was a study recently where the most wanted profession that children dreamed of being is a content creator. Most people want to grow up to become content creators, especially with the AI world. Content is something that's becoming more and more relevant and a way that humans can actually connect with each other. So this is going to be here to stay, and I think it's only getting bigger. And so there's a massive gap right now where you can come in and help them with the business side of the content. So they're good at creating content. They're good at producing views and getting attention, but they need help monetizing that attention. They need help converting that attention. Maybe they need help with fulfillment. They need help with handling customer support. There's so many things you can do for creator businesses, and you're essentially managing the business side of their operations and getting paid in revenue share. Now, the great advantage of the creator economy is it's typically more revenue share driven. The local business niche is more so productized services where you're selling them for retainers, whereas with the creator economy, you sign a client, maybe you get a small retainer, but you have a massive level of upside with the revenue share that you have within their business. And given the nature of scalability of a creator-based business where you can scale very quickly, I took one creator business from $250K a month to $1.8 million a month in like 8 months, and it made me a lot of money. And so these businesses have massive levels of scale. And so the economics are really good, but it might not be for everyone, right? Now, these are a little bit more sophisticated. If you're not a complete beginner, maybe I wouldn't start with this. But even as a beginner still, if you have the conviction and hunger and you're willing to learn, like AI really makes it much easier now because you can use tools like Manus and Claude to do a lot of the things that previously you would need to have the skill to be able to do correctly. You can also speak with AI, ask a bunch of questions with AI too. I have a bunch of AI tools as well that I use internally that help me a ton with this niche too. So either way, these are two great paths that you can go. You just pick one, don't overthink it. And what can happen is, by the way, on this creator economy, I'll just go through a few quick examples. As an AI operator, you can write sales pages and email sequences. You can manage their social media. You can set up AI systems. They'll pay you, again, as I said, in revenue share, and you can get 5 to 15K. You can even get, I've had this before, you can get 70, 80K in a single client by just doing a great job and having the right business relationship and having a good revenue share deal too. And oftentimes, once you get things dialed in, it won't take a ton of time either. So it's a bit of time when you first get started, but once you get things dialed in, it becomes a bit more streamlined. And so that's great. And so either way, these are the two high-level paths. Just pick one. Don't overthink it. Don't spend weeks researching. Just pick one and move forward. And again, if you're a complete beginner, probably local businesses is going to make the most sense for you. But if you understand the creator space, if you do have a level of conviction and interest in it, I do believe in having passion. If you do have passion behind it and you feel as though you like the idea of content creation, you like the idea of working with creators, you like the idea of maybe a specific niche within the creator economy as well. Again, I mentioned like you want to be hyper niche when you first get started out. That way you can be highly personalized with your messaging. And so as an example, if you have a massive passion for, let's just say, a specific type of health coaching, then you can tailor all of your messaging and solely focus on health and wellness coaches and only work with those within the creator economy. And that way you start to distinguish yourself and brand yourself differently from your competition, which makes it easier to acquire clients as well. And so that's just one example of how you can do that. But either way, that is everything for niche. So pick one of them, don't overcomplicate it, and go all in. And then from there, let's go into offer creation. Now, we've so far picked the niche, and now we're going into what do we actually sell to the niche. And again, the fundamental idea behind this is you really want to focus on your positioning and make it sound like something that's going to give them the outcome, because people are buying outcomes. They don't buy what you say. They don't buy the technology. They don't buy any system. They purely buy the outcome that you're able to deliver for them. Any social proof that you have, any testimonials that you're able to drive, all they do is show proof of you being able to drive that outcome. All they care about is you driving that outcome. And so that's what you want to think about when you think about offers. You need to answer 3 core questions. Number 1, what problem are you solving? So you should identify the biggest problem, the most expensive problem that your niche has, not a small problem, not a nice to have problem that they want to solve, but the biggest, most painful problem that keeps them awake at night. And so let's say you picked course creators, for example. What's their biggest problem? Well, one of them is that they're spending a lot of time creating content. And so they're editing videos, they're managing their social media. And so they have this big need for content, because if they do content well, they grow their business. Their entire business is driven by content. And so the better their content is, the more growth they experience. And also on top of that, if they're able to create speed and leverage within their content, probably it's taking up quite a bit of time right now for them. If you're able to come into their business and streamline the ability of them to create content, that saves up time that they can then put into developing their product, developing their offer, selling their students, upselling, serving their students, and really just working on higher leverage business activities, as cringy as that sounds, but that's frankly what it is. If you're able to come in and streamline their content production system, that would significantly help them. Sales is another great example for these types of businesses. Sales is a huge fundamental aspect of them scaling, especially if they're selling high ticket stuff. And so if you're able to help drive their conversions by, let's say, they have a 20% close rate, you drive it to a 25% close rate, the economic value of that could be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. And so they'd be happy to pay you thousands of dollars in doing that, 5 figures a month in doing that. And so next, once you figure out what problem they're solving, you figure out what results you're going to deliver for them, right? You need to quantify the result. You need to be very specific with it, right? So for example, going back to the example, you might say, I'll handle your entire content production done for you. I'll produce 3 YouTube videos per week, completely done for you, where everything is done, the scripts, the editing, the thumbnail, the positioning. You can go in, you can do their short form content. And so just be specific with exactly what you're selling. And again, have it be specific, measurable, and a result that they can understand that's directly tied to the biggest problem that you can identify that they're facing, that you can help them solve. And then from there, figure out how you're going to deliver that result, right? This is where you explain the mechanism. You explain what you're actually going to do to get them that result, right? And so for example, with dental practices, the way you might do this is you might go to them, you might tell them you're running their paid ads on Facebook and Instagram, you're targeting people in their local area that are searching for dental services, and then you're going to create educational content for their social media that will position them as the go-to dentist in that area. And you're going to use AI systems to, for example, streamline the appointment reminder flow and different things, and making sure that people show up. And these are what people pay for. It's not about the service itself, it's about selling the outcome. And so, for example, with a creator business, you might say something like, I'm going to operate AI systems to handle your entire content engine, and I'll deploy AI to write your scripts. And then from there, you're going to talk about how you're going to deliver that result. Now, you don't need to go too deep into this, because people don't care about what you're doing. They care about the outcome. And so you need to really lean on the outcome that you're able to drive. But you can briefly touch on, when you're communicating with the client, how you work, and really just setting up a good relationship. But this is more so for yourself. This is more so how you can think internally of how you can use AI to streamline the fulfillment and the service that you're actually providing. So for example, if you're running paid ads for dental practices, you can think through which AI tools can you use to streamline the ad creation process. For creator businesses, you can do the same. If you're going to do content, you can figure out which AI tools you're going to use for YouTube scripts to match the voice and the style, the way you do the prompts, how you're going to edit the videos, to generate the thumbnails, et cetera, et cetera. So this is more so for yourself. You don't need to divulge too many details to the client with this, because again, they care about the outcome, and that's the main part. And again, the beautiful part about this is when you frame your offer in the right way and position it in the right way. Positioning is everything. When you position it the right way, the price becomes irrelevant, because if you're getting them 20 new patients per month, as an example, they will happily pay you $5,000, right? If you're getting them 20 patients, and those patients are worth the equivalent of $20,000 per month in additional revenue, let's just say as an example, they would happily pay you $5,000, because you're creating additional money that previously was not there, that you're now driving into their business through efficient systems and being a good operator. Okay, so that's everything for offers. We've gone now, figured out our niche, we figured out our offer. We want to do this quickly. We want to spend like maybe 2-3 days max. Ideally, if you can figure it out in the first day or two, that'd be great. But once you figure this out, what you really want to lean on and what you want to spend the majority of your time doing is traffic strategy. Now, when it comes to traffic strategy, there's 3 core ways that you can get traffic. You can either do cold outreach, you can do paid advertising, or you can do organic content. They all have their pros and cons, but for most beginners, if you're just getting started out, if you don't have a massive budget, and if you don't, for example, know the ins and outs of advertising, I wouldn't recommend it to beginners. We'll talk about meta ads still. I think it's still it's so good if you know what you're doing. It's the best way to get clients, but as a beginner, it's probably not the best place to start. But either way, Cold outreach, cheapest and fastest way to get clients. You can do this through cold email, cold SMS, cold DMs on Instagram or LinkedIn. And you want to make it personalized. You want to keep it short. You don't want to overthink it, but you do want to really try to be as specific as you can. And what you can even do is create personalized looms. The more personalized that you can be with your messaging, the better it would be. And you can use AI in the process of personalizing the messages that you send out to businesses. And so the more personalized, again, that you can be, the better it is, because there's so many people that are doing cold outreach that just send very plain messages that end up just going nowhere. So if you're able to communicate with personalization, and if you're able to make the business owner feel as though you put time and effort and intention behind your message, that definitely makes it easier for them to ultimately want to do business with you. And AI really helps with that as well, by the way. So that's cold outreach. Again, super simple, super straightforward. This is just one example of a way you can do it, but you can go in and you say, hey, name, I noticed that blank, most blank I work with are struggling with that same specific problem. I specialize in helping this niche with this exact same problem, and I'd love to hop on a quick call to explain. Number two, if you do have the budget, you can run paid ads. And again, this is the fastest way to scale. I typically run ads on Facebook and Instagram. You can also do Google. There's many other ad platforms too, but the main ones are meta advertising. And the main thing with having it work is you need to have a clear offer and a clear call to action. And it needs to be something that you're selling at a high ticket rate. If you're selling something for like $500 or $1,000 or $2,000, it's going to be difficult to have success with meta advertising. You really need to go high ticket, like ideally 5K or 10K plus, because there's going to be an associated cost to acquire the customer. It might cost $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 to acquire the customer for the service that you're providing with meta ads. Obviously, if you do paid ads, you just pay $2,000 or $3,000, and right away you create a relationship that might pay you in month-to-month retainers of 3, 5, 10K a month over the next 6, 12, 18 months. And so over the long period of time, you might have an LTV that justifies the CAC. But yeah, there is going to be an associated cost with acquiring clients on Meta, 2, 3, 4K. And you just need to make sure that the LTV that you get on the other end is structured in a way where it's worth you paying that amount of money to acquire that customer. And in doing that as well, the main game with ads, again, is clear offer and then being good at sales to convert the traffic that comes in through ads. Because you can be great at advertising and positioning, and you can have a great VSL, and you can do amazing work with getting people onto a sales call. But if you don't know how to sell, ultimately you won't be able to convert people, and then your acquisition cost to acquire a customer will go way up. And so you want to make sure that you understand the basics and fundamentals of sales, the basics and fundamentals of offer and positioning, and then you want to make sure that what you're selling is a high ticket service that's worth a multiple of the CAC that you're paying to acquire the customer. And typically, if you're doing a good job with advertising, your CAC will sit at somewhere on the low end of 1K, and then it could go up to 4 to 5K as well. And so, as an example, if it's 2K, you want to make sure that you make at least 6K back, maybe 4 or 5K you can get away with as well on day one. And then you can then make month 2, month 3, month 4 additional revenue in the back end, which just enhance the LTV and make the value of the customer go up. And then number 3, you could do organic content. And this is a long-term play. You could create content on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, educates your target audience. And what it can do is it can get you new customers, but it can also nurture your existing customers too. Now, if you're trying to get a client in the next 7 days, it's going to be very difficult to do that with organic content. This is more so just useful long-term, so you can work on organic content in the future. But for the first 7 days, either launch paid ads or do cold outreach. If you have money, if you understand business, if you understand marketing principles, you can do paid ads. If not, just focus on cold outreach and just send enough messages such that you can get enough responses. Because for all of these things, it is just a number game. Like everything is a volume game. And if you put in enough volume and inputs on one end, you will get the output that you want. And getting your first client in 7 days is just a game of volume. Because within 7 days, what you can do is you can do the equivalent of a different business owner that spends 3 months to do the same level of volume that you do within 7 days. That is completely possible. It's completely in your hands. Most people are just not trying. Frankly, it is the case that most people are not trying. So if you just apply yourself, you can do really well within the first 7 days. But organic content, it's great. I love it. I'm a big believer in it. It works really well. It makes ads much easier. It makes outbound much easier. It makes everything much easier. You get new clients from it. You nurture your existing clients. It makes it easier to sell to people as well. It makes it easier to hire. There's so many great benefits with content, but it's probably not going to be the thing that gets you your first client in the first 7 days, so we won't spend too much time on it. And then from there, regardless of your traffic strategy, you start prospecting. And what you need to keep in mind is that when people are starting out, they're afraid of rejection, they're afraid of hearing no, they're afraid of looking stupid. And here's what you want to understand. rejection is part of the game. You're just going to have to deal with it. It's going to be something that you learn. And again, I mentioned this earlier, but it is a volume game. You're going to hear a lot of no's. If you're willing to get through 100 no's, 1,000 no's, 10,000 no's to get to your first yes, it won't take you 10,000 no's. But imagine if you're willing to do that, because success is really just a game of continuously trying until you get it. Like, the only way you can really fail is if you give up. And so if you don't give up, if you just keep going, you will inevitably create success. And the main issue with business owners is they give up. Because the reality is success is guaranteed as long as you don't give up. But most people just give up. And rejection is one of the things that causes people to give up. So I'm just saying this on the front end. Don't allow yourself to get beat down by rejection. And if you are somebody that struggles with this, there's a bunch of ways that you can get better with it. But I think getting around other people that are good at dealing with this, that have the right mental models, that have dealt with it for a long time, like the right community helps, the right mindset helps, mental training helps, affirmations helps. Just in general, being somebody who's dialed in life, that shows up to their health, their goals and their vision and all these things, they all help formulate your thinking and the mindset game behind growing a business. But that is a big thing, by the way. Like, I know I spent a minute talking about this, but this is the main reason people fail. I've worked with several people now, and the main reason people fail is because they give up way too soon when things get tough. And so don't let that be you. Don't give up when things get tough. Just expect it and be ready to move past it, and understand that there's this great quote by Winston Churchill. I think it goes something like, success is just moving from failure to failure without a loss of enthusiasm. And I said that over and over and over again in my head when I was going through failures and tough times and rejections. And you want to remember that. You just want to remember that and stick through it. So either way, to get tactical, what you want to do is you want to build your list. You can use a tool like Apollo. There's tons of tools, but Apollo is just one example. D7 Finder is another example too. But either way, get the information and then personalize your outreach. It's very important you personalize. The more you personalize, the better. You cannot win in the market with outbound if you do not personalize. Outbound does still work very well. You just have to be highly personalized with the way that you communicate your messaging. And you're able to do that very well with AI right now. As an example, you can create a website and give that website to a business completely for free, or you can go and show it to them and say that, look, you can buy this website off me for $500. I put it together for you. If you like it, let me know. And then from there, you can then upsell them into something bigger. And I have several people doing this, by the way, right now, very successfully. So this is something that works very, very well. And then from there, again, as I said, send your outreach, follow up with them. It might take a few times that you follow up. And as you do that, eventually what will end up happening is you'll get into a sales call. When you do get into a sales call, you want to make sure that you show up. Sales is something that you learn over time. It's mainly being able to communicate with the business owner and understand what their needs are, and then position yourself as the person that can solve their needs. We typically like to do a 2-call close sequence. So within the first call, we do a diagnosis call where we're just understanding what their problems are, what their constraints are. And you're not trying to pitch them. You're just asking them questions to understand their business better. Things like, tell me about your business. How long have you been in business? What do you do? What's the biggest challenge you're facing right now? How much is the challenge costing you in terms of time, money, or lost opportunities? What have you tried so far to solve this problem? And if we could solve this problem for you, what would that be worth to you? And at the end of this call, you don't pitch. You say, based on everything you've told me, I think I can help you. I'm going to put together a customized proposal that shows you exactly how you can solve this problem for your business. And so if that works for you, give me 24 hours. I'm going to put everything together for you completely for free. Let's hop on a call tomorrow at the same time so I can walk you through it. Does that sound good? And then from there, say yes, hang up, build that rapport, build that connection, know exactly their problem, feed that entire diagnosis call into AI, put together a proposal, and then figure out essentially like what to sell to them, and then go back to them on the proposal call, recap the problem, present the solution, show the timeline, state the price and make it very, very clear, and then pretty much sign them on. And that's the thing here. You can use AI in the process of doing all of this. You can do the call, record the call, take the transcript of the call, feed it into a proposal generator, which we have one, a proprietary proposal generator. It's nothing crazy, but I have a few developers that put it together. And so you can feed that into AI, and they can create a proposal for you, essentially, that will make it much easier for you to personalize the way that you pitch the business ultimately, which makes it easier for you to sell them to. And so this is a thing where sales will take a while to get good at, but once you get good at it, you will never go broke when you know how to sell, right? Like if you know how to sell, you will always be making at least 10 to 15K per month. And so I do highly recommend everyone gets into sales and does a great job with sales. But that is essentially the game, right? Once you figure out prospecting, once you figure out sales, you can get your first sales call booked within the first few days. If you speed run figuring out your niche and your offer, and then you heavily lean on and spend a lot of time on traffic strategy and lock in for a couple days, you can theoretically spend 10 hours a day just sending out targeted cold outreach and then book your first couple sales calls. And it's completely possible and totally possible that you can get your first sale within the first 7 days if you are super intentional with it. Now, worst case scenario, it doesn't happen within the first 7 days and it takes maybe 10 days or 14 days, but it can happen within the first 7 days, and that's the whole point. There is this massive thing where a lot of people overcomplicate it and they make it sound like it's way more complicated than it is, but the more simple you make it, which literally it's niche, offer, prospecting, sales call, and the mindset between prospecting and sales call and the skill of sales, that is the main thing that gets you your first client. And then once you get your first client, that's a different story. But there is this unfair advantage that AI operating gives you, right? Right now you might be thinking, this all sounds great, but what's different about using AI? And the difference is traditional agencies are built on human labor, right? AI operators, they're using AI systems. And so what happens is, again, as I said, you pick your niche, you create your offer, you choose your traffic strategy, you start prospecting and book calls, you close the deal. And what happens is when you do close the deal, you can use AI to help fulfill on that deal. And so the power of AI operating is not just using AI tools, you're operating AI systems that compress the timeline and multiply your output and let you compete with agencies that have been around for 10 years from day one. A traditional agency business might take months to get their first client, but an AI operator can do it within the first 7 days, given that they are streamlined with AI. And so AI helps with this. I do think AI helps with this, but I think it's more so the person themselves. And so AI is the opportunity that makes fulfillment easier. As an example, with a traditional service business, you could get a sale within the first 7 days, but then you're stuck trying to fulfill and you don't know how to fulfill. Or you might spend years learning fulfillment and actually being good at fulfillment to keep the client. Whereas with AI operating, you can primarily focus on selling and marketing so that when you do get clients, you can utilize AI systems to help with the fulfillment where the AI really does a lot of the work for you. And so if you follow this process as I've laid out, there's no reason you can't close your first client in the first 7 days. And so with all that said, here's how AI operating gives you an unfair advantage. The reality is with most agency businesses, service businesses, fulfillment is a massive pain. You can see that within the first 7 days here. You pick your niche, you pick your offer. Both of these two things can be done leveraging AI. When you do traffic, you can easily do prospecting and warm outreach at scale with AI. When you do get a person that's interested, you can create your proposal with AI. And then most importantly, when you do sell them and when you do have that deal closed, you don't have to spend years getting good at fulfillment. You don't have to spend so much time trying to figure out who should I hire, where can I find the contractor that will help me fulfill on the service that I'm selling them. You can just use AI operating to do a lot of the work for you, and you can use the AI systems that exist within the marketplace to help streamline your ability to fulfill. And so you can spend your time on growing the business. You can spend your time on selling, on marketing, on the ideation behind the vision of the business rather than on all this time spent on fulfillment. And so this is entirely possible. Now, obviously, AI operating is a component of this. It ultimately depends on the person. Most people, I'm just going to be very direct with you, won't be able to do this within the first 7 days, but it is entirely possible, and it ultimately goes down to your hands. And with AI right now specifically, the opportunity is bigger than ever before. And so I think it's a very exciting time, and this is essentially the full way of doing it. So that's the 7-day roadmap to landing your first $5,000 client as an AI operator. Day 1 to 2 is where you pick your niche. You either go local businesses or creator businesses. Day 3 to 4 is where you create your results-driven offer. Then you go out and choose your traffic strategy, which again, for most people, I recommend cold outreach to start if you're just getting started out as a beginner. And then day 6, go out there, start prospecting, book meetings, and then day 7, close your first deal using the 2-call close process. If you follow this process exactly as I've laid out, there's no reason you can't close your client in the next 7 days. Again, it's lofty. Not everyone can do it, but it is entirely possible. And the reality is, again, most people won't do this. They'll watch this video, they'll think it's a great idea, and then they'll go back to scrolling on social media and wondering why they're not making money. So don't be that person. And if you are serious about this, actually apply what I say. You don't even have to work with me. You can just do it by yourself and make money. If you do want to work with my team and I, then you can click the link in the description right now to apply to work with us. We'll give you access to all the AI tools. We'll work with you one-on-one, make sure you have everything you need, give you the exact sales scripts, give you the exact fulfillment process, give you the daily support that you need to go from being at the level that you're at to getting to at least 8 to 12K per month consistently online in the next 90 days or less. And if we don't, we'll keep working with you until that happens. And we actually work with you one-to-one. You're not just going to be put into some group call with like 50 other people. We genuinely want to be the best in the market. We care very much about our reputation, and we put a lot of thought and effort into this. So again, you don't have to do it completely free. You can keep watching my free content and gain all the value for free. But if you do want to work with us, if you do want to connect and go all in, and this is something you're serious about, click the link below. But only do it if you're serious, if you're ready to go all in. Because if you're not committed, if you're not consistent, it's going to be difficult to create success, as it is with any business. So if you are committed, click the link down below. If not, thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe to the channel for more content on AI operating, client acquisition, and scaling your business. And I'll see you in the next video.